Love and peace!
Let's fast track through this, alright? I'd like to go over the differences between the auto attack and skill amplification variations of Hart and how they differ. I know this isn't anything new to Eternal Return players, but I'd like to clarify right off the bat. This will help make things smoother later on into the video. So, what is the difference between auto attack and skill amplification? The difference is this. Auto attack Hart doesn't do a lot of damage all at once, but can more easily keep doing damage to enemies over time, while also keeping up the pressure and making them feel like they have no breathing room.
Island. 2 last survivors remaining.
Meanwhile, with the skill amplification variant, it's all based on your skills. But there's more to it than that. Hart doesn't get the luxury of being able to keep constant pressure up while building skill amp. Instead, she's relying on being able to hit the skill shot that is her Q, delay, and keeping her distance with her E, flanger, to avoid taking unnecessary damage.
Hold on. Third?
Yeah.
Oh!
We're so good! We're so good! I talk more about the differences here, but I can save that for when we get there. Instead, I'd like to go over Hart's kit, because despite only having guitar, it's pretty complicated. Hart's Q is delay. If you press it once, it will begin charging up for 4 seconds. At 4 seconds, it will do maximum damage, but if you fail to use it after an additional 4 seconds, it will disappear. Hart's W is overdrive. Hart's E is flanger. Upon pressing the key, she'll move in a targeted direction, and you can use the skill up to 3 times with a short delay in between. Hart's R is peacemaker. Pressing the corresponding key will have Hart perform a mini-concert and make everyone, enemies, allies, and monsters alike, dance while healing herself over time. Hart's passive is feedback, and all it lets her do is recover SP every time she hits an enemy with an auto attack. And while we're here, I'll talk about Love and Peace, the skill that is special to the guitar weapon. It's a skill shot that, when hit, will make the enemy stop anything they're doing and walk towards you, otherwise known as a charm. Now here's the fun part. Evolution points. This, folks, is where people get really lost in Hart if they haven't been lost from her skills already. Hart gains an evolution point every time she crosses a guitar at every rarity. And no, you cannot unequip your current guitar and make a new one to get an evolution point. Anyways, 1 evil point from going from white to green, green to blue, and blue to purple, leaving you at 3 evil points, as there is no golden guitar you can build into. Though I wouldn't mind a golden guitar, just saying. Also, you can put up to 2 points into any given skill. Now onto the evolution effects. Evolving Q makes it so that when you hit an enemy with it, it will slow them for either 35% of their movement speed if you put 1 point into it, or 50% if you put 2 points into it. Evolving E will either add an additional 18% amp or 25% amp if you put either 1 or 2 points into it respectively. Evolving R will drain the SP of your enemies for either 80 or 180 SP for every second they dance, and depending on if it has 1 or 2 evil points in it. And lastly, Evolving Hart's passive makes it so that for every point into it, which is 2 by the way, same as all the other skills, she will discharge an additional sound wave. It gives her more auto attacks is the easy way to understand this skill. So why am I avoiding Hart's W? It's kind of not worth putting points into. Not even regular skill points. Hart's W is overdrive, which gives Hart extra attack power for 7 seconds while it's active, and the evolved version of it shreds through defense when it's active for either 25 or 35% depending on the amount of points put in. And even then, there's not much you get out of it. Not that it's completely useless, it's that Q, delay, and E, flanger provide more utility. Q is a damage dealer, while E provides kiting potential, which are a lot better for even auto attack, and it's the variant that's supposed to be able to have the most success with it. Now that we've got the skills out of the way, let's talk about the 2 different variations of Hart. Auto attack Hart, like I said in the beginning, is one of two variations of her. This one focuses on keeping up the pressure towards enemies while also being hard to hit with the use of her E skill. The guitars Hart uses in this case are Satisfaction, The Wall, and Teen Spirit. Now, despite the fact that Hart has 3 guitars at her disposal, and that The Wall technically has a direct upgrade in the form of Wonderful Tonight, there's very little flexibility in the routing of these guitars when it comes to their builds. Now why do I say that? Each of the 3 guitars builds in vastly different zones. That should be enough for build diversity, right? No. The weakest link of auto attack Hart is her reliance on items such as Crusader's Armor or Veritas Lux Maya. Both of these items bind you to specific zones, those zones being Chapel and Temple, and while that's fine and all, being forced to go there no matter your route is a little bit more than infuriating. Auto attack is easily the strongest version of Hart when it gets online, but you can easily be halted in Chapel, even with your weapon. An example I'd like to show is 2 of BinBintz's Enad Hart builds. Enad standing for extra normal attack damage, which if you've played Eternal Return long enough, you know that just means auto attack focused. If you'll notice, even with 2 completely different guitars, Auto Attack Hart's best routes still require to go to Chapel to get her armor piece, and Temple for her accessory piece. That being said, I do want to go over what to evolve with Auto Attack Hart and why you evolve the skills you do. Evolving order is passive, then Q, then passive again. Why? Well, if you paid attention to the skills explanation in the last section, then you'd understand why. But if not, then I'll refresh. Passive gains an additional auto attack when it has an evil point in it. 2 evil points giving 2 auto attacks. While Q gives a 35% reduction in movement speed to an enemy to help you catch up with your enemies and land more autos. Evolves Q as both your chase and escape. Now what items can you change into late game? Nothing much really. If running BinBintz's Satisfaction build, the most you can switch out is White Rhinos for feather boots, then upgrade from Vital Sign Sensor to Radar, and that's about it. If you're running BinBintz's The Wall build, you switch from Motorcycle Helmet to Laurel Wreath, and that's about it. There isn't much variety when it comes to auto attack routes. Now on the other hand, skill amplification. It hits like a truck and can have some long downtime, but thanks to Hart kits and evolution points, skill amp has a lot more options. The main 3 skill amplification guitars being Purple Haze, Stairway to Heaven, and Bohemian. Unlike auto attack earlier, there are a lot of different items you can run a skill amplification Hart. You're not limited to just Commander's Armor in the chest slot or Uchiwa in the accessory slot. With skill amp, a ton of different options open to you. The most important of which is routing and itemization. Since you're not so reliant on specific items, you're free to pick a starting zone and build your route from there with a plethora of different items to go along with it. Well, let's get into that more. I will admit I'm biased when it comes to skill amplification, as I myself only run skill amplification Hart. But there genuinely is a lot to talk about it, and this is where the majority of the video's length will be. Now let's talk about that routing thing I've been hammering in all the time since talking about auto attack Hart. All 3 of Hart's skill up guitars go to zones that are contested. All 3 of them require gemstones to make them. Purple Haze and Stairway need pickaxes and gemstones to make gold, while Bohemian needs a hammer and a gemstone to make a ruby. But what do I have to prove in all of this? While Auto Attack Hart has guitars that never require the same materials and go to vastly different zones, they're all tied to Chapel and Temple because of their reliance on certain items. Skill Amplification Hart has guitars that overlap with each other in the materials used, but do not have a reliance on certain items. What this means for you, the viewer, is this. Skill Amplification Hart can go just about anywhere, and if she can't get the items she planned for in her route, she can always swap to a different item instead of being reliant on getting the planned item. A good example is Stairway to Heaven. This is a guitar that forces you to go Chapel, which on paper makes it about as worse as Auto Attack Hart, but it's really not. Building Stairway means ending up in Chapel, but you can go to Cemetery to finish a Sunset Armor, Imperial Crown, or Commander's Armor, or Factory to finish a Draupnir or Tyndalos Band. By going to Chapel, you can also potentially finish a Gujan, or you can ignore that and try for an Uchiwa, or even build a Schrodinger's box at Chapel instead. From that alone, I should be able to convey to you, the viewer, the skill amplification Hart is very flexible in where she can go to finish items. Better yet, because of this, she itemizes better than Auto Attack Hart, especially when it comes into transitioning to late game. On the topic of that, let me explain. A character itemizing well means that you can use other items very well, and I've shown how to explain what transitioning is, from transitioning into early game, to mid game, into late game. I bring this up because there are options Hart can run when she chances across them from either chests or dead bodies. Want to add more skill amplification on an already using Sunset Armor? Take someone else's Commander's Armor. Or did you open an EOD suit from a purple box? Now you're more tanky. What if you wanted to switch off of Gojin's pure offensive focus and instead have the SP regen benefits of Uchiwa? Take it off someone. You aren't limited to only Veritas because it's the only accessory piece that has extra normal attack damage. Hell, Veritas has other stats that skill Ampart can benefit from. You could run that if you took it off an Enator you killed. Now that isn't to say Ampart is the be-all end-all. It specializes in spiking really early and just being really bursty in general. So that means you won't be able to keep up with the constant pressure that auto-attack Hart brings. That makes it not suitable for solos, but in a team setting there is a case to be had for bringing Ampart over an auto-attack Hart. Now evolution points skill order and why. Q into E again, or E into Q into E. It's not as straightforward as auto-attack. Why is that? Because it depends. You level Q first if you think you're going to be potentially ran down early on. But if you feel safe or want to be aggressive early, you can level E first. Remember that Q slows and that E gives % skill amp for every time you use it. I think I've covered everything that I've wanted to talk about with skill amplification. Let's move on, shall we? As a disclaimer, these builds may or may not be outdated by the time this video comes out. As Eternal Return frequently receives patches in its current early access state, by the time you, the viewer, may be watching this video, any of the information from this point onwards may or may not apply. Since we got that out of the way, let's take it from the top and talk about Auto Attack Hart. This is a build from BinBintz that uses the wall. You can see its pathing and where it goes, but also see the items it's building into. It's a little bit dated because BinBintz updated the feather boots to what the white rhinos, but we'll get to that. The thing to keep in mind while running this build is that, while you build your weapon really fast, you aren't really all that equipped to fight people early. Because of this, you can easily die to someone in chapel while trying to grab parts for your motorcycle helmet and crusader's armor. Granted, you'll have purple weapon first, but if you play it poorly, you can still die easily or waste your time trying to kill somebody. On the plus side, between factory and chapel, you can quite easily make milk bread and have a strong health food early into the game. You use the 2 water given to you at spawn, however, so you will need to be drinking ice and coffee along the way when going from cemetery to chapel. Apart from chapel, it should be smooth sailing from there on, grabbing items from uptown if you haven't got them off of other characters' dead bodies, and trying to get your endgame item, that being Laurel Wreath. Now why white rhinos over feather boots? Because despite the massive difference in attack speed, in a late game situation, white rhinos are better because of its healing reduction, which really can help you win fights despite the nearly 20% difference in attack speed. On to the next build. This is BinBintz's Satisfaction build. Same as last time. You can see where it builds and what items it has. There's still not much to say here. Just like the previous build, despite finishing weapon fast, you aren't really in a position to be taking fights super early. But between Avenue and Chapel, you can easily either find milk or honey, or both even. If you find both, then you can make honey milk, which will help you with your SP problems early on. Otherwise, just grab your required items and milk and get going, or grab your items and honey, and make 1 set of honey water after you teleport into Chapel. Be aware that you will need to make sure you leave Avenue with at least 1 battery and 1 fountain pen. And after that, you'll need to find at least 1 paper in Chapel to finish Satisfaction. I bring this up here instead of on the other build because Avenue especially is a highly contested area. So if you don't find the items you need for your weapon right off the bat, you will be spending extra time to get those materials elsewhere. And that's time you most likely don't have. If you manage to survive those tunes like the build before, it's pretty much smooth sailing. You can ignore trying to contest for Hotel's Tree of Life if you can't make it there in time, but you will need to get at least 1 iron ore and scrap metal before you leave. The rest of the items you need for the rest of your build should be uncontested. The endgame items here are Laurel Wreath and Radar, or Cube Watch instead of Radar. Oh yeah, also between Avenue and Chapel, if you manage to have space for chocolate or are able to make choco pies before you leave Avenue, you can also make choco pie boxes, another great food to have early on into the game. That's auto attack done. Now what I think is spicier, or more, there's more to talk about, skill amplification. This is my skill amplification build. It's a 4-zoner and you can see what items it builds. But that's not what I'm going to talk about, obviously. In archery, you'll need to leave the zone with at least 1 paper. You can also make Heelys to help with moving faster in the early stages of the game, and to have it in your inventory for a possible Hermes later. In Alley, you can kill the first chicken you see in hopes of a leather armor early. You'll need to leave here with at least 1 lighter. At this point, When you teleport into forest from either alley or temple, you'll need to be careful of any pings nearby. Since you'll be crafting a lot of items and looking in a lot of boxes here, anyone in forest at the time can easily get the jump on you and kill you before finishing your weapon or afterwards. If you didn't get the honey from alley or the eggs from archery, this is your chance to get them again and make honey water or egg buns respectively. Or grab herbs and flowers to make orchids so that when you go into Avenue, you can make healing potions. You have lots of options when it comes to your endgame items. You can switch into glacial shoes or boots of Hermes as possible options. You could switch out Tindalos for Scotty or even Dropney if you feel like you want more defensive stats and more amplification. White Crane Fan can easily be swapped for an Uchiwa you find off a character you kill, or a Gujan, among other options. And easily, your armor pieces are plentiful. Amazon is if your lobby is using a bunch of characters that use skills, EUD for its defensive stats overall, and if the lobby is using more auto attacks, Rockers to help with the chase, or Cabana/Commanders to add more skill amp. You're not just limited to only Crusader's armor on auto attacks. Now, you may notice that while you don't need a lot of items from each of your zones, and that you finish 3 items each in zones 3 and 4, you need 4 gemstones. And now you've probably either been screaming, or typing a comment out asking me why the build requires that many and how you're supposed to get that many. That's the beauty of the entire thing, however. You don't necessarily have to go to forest. You can go to beach to finish your build instead, or pond. Hell, even temple can work. If you didn't grab everything you wanted from forest, beach is right beside you, and at worst you can take Uptown's teleport to go to temple or pond instead. Is alley populated with people? Head to school almost right beside it. Because you go to so few zones, you can go to any if your 2nd, 3rd, or 4th zones are contested. And just because Purple Haze is one of the 2 slowest building amp guitars, doesn't mean that it's not flexible in routing. Next build, please. This build is from a good friend of mine, Weegee, who hangs around Skaz's server often. If you like his build, then you can give him your thanks over there. In Beach, you'll need to leave with at least 1 pickaxe and 1 gemstone so you can make gold for your weapon. Make sure you're picking up as much carbonated water as possible to keep your SP topped off and to grieve some characters of their weapons. In Uptown, if you find carbonated water and lemons, you can make lemonade. If you still have your bread, you can easily make citrus cake. You'll need to leave this zone with at least a laser pointer for your weapon. Make sure to grab sneakers on the way out so you have some form of movement speed, because without it, you will feel slow as molasses. From there onwards, you only need a grill from Chapel to complete Stairway. And if you've been able to grab materials for it, you'll also make Revenge of Gujin early. That doesn't mean you can take fights super early, however. You can if you feel confident about it, but I would advise against it. You can teleport to Temple then Hospital to finish off the rest of your build, or you can go to Cemetery and Factory instead. Factory is especially nice to head to first because you'll be able to make Mavic runners, or Heelys at the very least to help with that movement speed situation. Another benefit is that like BinBintz's The Wall build, you can make mocha bread easily from Cemetery and Factory if you haven't made citrus cake yet. Your endgame items are the same as what I listed in the previous build overview. The strength of this build is how fast it all comes together, and how surprisingly consistent it is despite needing 5 gemstones and requiring you go to Chapel as if you were running an auto attack build. It runs into the same issue with my build where you need lots of gemstones, but that can be easily supplemented by going to Forest above, or teleporting into Temple and walking through Pond if you're brave enough. You've made it to the end of the video. Hooray! Here are some little tidbits that I'd like to add after the fact. Hart's D-skill is your friend in all cases. Her charm can help add extra damage when used with a full E ramp up and a follow-up Q, and for both versions can be used as a pick tool. There's not many places where Hart can jump over, but there is a wall in Cemetery coming from Factory that is possible. From Archery's main building to the pathway underneath it is also possible, and other locations that I'm not aware of. Don't be afraid to use E to help make looting easier, just be wary of running out of SP because you'll still need it for searching boxes in the first place. Oh yeah, I also barely touched on her ultimate. You won't use this much unless you're really in a pinch. Use it to reset the fight or when you're at risk of dying. It's not anything that can help you offensively in solos, but in team modes you can use it offensively in a lot of different ways. Just remember that basically anything will cancel Hart ult after it goes off, unlike Yuki or Zhukai's ults. Yeah, I wonder. That should be everything. I hope. I'd like to shout out Moonlit Puppy or Taylor for helping me with the making of this guide, and Weegee for his wonderful stairway build that I've been abusing to hell and back recently. Thanks, guys. If this video helped you out, then you can comment that. But if you think there's something wrong or just want to voice your opinion, then you can do that as well. Subscribe if you want, and I don't know what my next video will be. Just not something like this ever again, hopefully. Oh boy.
At which point we can, we're close to a drop near for you if you have an extra bandage.
Oh yeah. Oh, here we go. Lighter. There we go, I can make it. You need hammer now, right?
Mhm.
I'm looking, I'm not seeing anything right now. Nope. Rusty sword.
Oh, I don't need a hammer anymore.
Okay.
Shotgun acquired. I'm actually pretty built. I'm down to like 5. What else do you need?
I'm basically built.
If you're built, you want to just cemetery right now, slam it.
Yeah.
It's next tree spawns there in a minute, so we can try to get your Scotty.
Yeah. I missed it.
Extra leather.
Can't believe how much that fucking worked though.
Oh well, the fucking cemetery one's disappearing. But we can go chapel.
Sure.
What's your biggest healing right now?
I'll be fine. We'll just go
Look at
chapel.
that. I've got 4 700s if you need one.
I know my character.
No, it's just like any HP is HP.
Yeah.
I don't need 4
Also down here, if you want to go for that.
Yeah, I do see those things. Hold on, look at these guys real quick. Bracer, which is close to building that
Nail.
drop meter. But this tree is spawning if we want to get it.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I'll walk out there and grab it real quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you have the bike, right? Yeah.
I'm not even gonna use it because it's just right there. Bike takes a second to build up speed, so it's just like by the time I got there, I'd be hopping off. Down for that. Grab a stone.
Do you have ice?
Did we not grab ice? This is so sad.
This is the saddest of sads. Oh.
Is there anywhere else with ice?
Hotel. Let's just go for fights. Scotty's a fucking luxury at this point. We already have 2 kills on our name.
If we could just find a bracelet, I can make you a
Drought near. Yeah.
drop near, yeah. We're looking for that dog fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
let you go ahead, cause like I'm squish.
Yeah, let me play front. What else? Is he ratting?
How you doing?
He wasn't even ratting. Oh, he was waiting for those 2 down there. Oh, it's the duo we fought earlier.
Come on, Yuki, come up.
That's not his teammate, so he's not going to.
No, I know. What I'm saying is like he sees us doing it. Come on, buddy.
My pal.
Oh hey, here's the heart.
No, okay, so that's this guy's teammate.
Wait, hold on. Don't get hit by that. I'm gonna get hit by this. Yep. Nope. Out of range.
Big. Yeah, I'm just gonna get out of this like my bike.
We're about to get fucking murdered.
Yeah, I need to get out. Kill the Yuki? Yeah.
Got him. As you can tell, I know my character.
Keep fighting. I need SP regen if I want to kill this guy and see if
Hold on.
He had none.
Oh shit!
I don't want to leave this guy.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I'd rather leave just all the teams crippled.
Get Hart. Oh wait, no, yeah.
I don't think we have to place. Oh, I need to build more fuel. I think I want to hit a faraway E on this guy. Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. I've got fuel.
Wait. Don't get stuck between the heart.
Yeah, no. I just don't have a ton of SP, so. Floater. Okay.
Get out of here.
Looking for this. I canceled.
Yeah. Hold on.
Flood.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're so good. We're so
actually, we're fucking shimmerfing
good.
on
We're
this.
cracked. We're fucking cracked.
We're fucking cracked. There's a virgin head on this guy. You already have it. Cool.
Like we're literally just better.
Bill Dipperly, if I do say so myself.
Hello, Silver. How are you? We're literally just better, dude.
Ooh, this guy's got the fucking burnishing Aegis.
Oh
new
my
item.
god.
Glacial shoes.
Oh, Glacial, let's go. Fuck
Commander
yeah.
armor if you want it. Uchiwa.
Just fucking stack all the amp, I guess. Fuck
Fucking,
it.
yeah, that fucking, I'm dropping it. I'm dropping it all. I'm gonna take this fucking spiked plank just in case we find a forest core. I can make some good mines.
Hello, Colonel. How are you? This is yeah, basically, yeah. Black Survival meets League of Legends, and me and my teammate are kind of fucking stacked right now.
I'll stop trying to optimize. Let's go.
Oh, I know why this Hart wasn't doing that much damage. It's because she's running crit.
Oh, it's 2v2 by the way. These two are annoying. I only have one camera. If we find another binocular, then
If we find Issa, we go for him first, 100%.
Okay.
Because you don't want Issa to
right now.
Yeah, you don't want Issa to stay alive.
Very true.
Log on 0. I haven't really been feeling Elsword in a while. Been kind of having a lot of fun here in Eternal Return. Jesus Christ, still 5 kills.
There we go.
They fixed wedding? I see.
You want a TP hotel maybe? Clear
Sure.
there, go into beach.
Sure.
I got 4 cameras now.
Nice. What's in there?
Sword stopper.
Oh no, I don't need that. Kirby player must get married. I see.
A good TP.
Yeah. That's what we want. Oh, there's that Nadine. Oh, Mithril. If I can.
Oh, I have a helm.
Myth. No. No, I'm gonna make Myth String. Honestly.
I got this one. Oh, the CDR on me is kind of fat.
There's Binox in that one.
Yeah, my game is running 2 FPS. What's going on?
I know I've been off for 33 days. Again, I've just been having a lot of fun playing Eternal Return. Also realize that I barely took any damage from that fight in general. Oh shit.
Oh, they're on.
I know. Come to me.
Yeah, I'm chilling. Wait, just take these wolves.
Oh, there's Isol. Wait.
Yep. That's both of them.
Yeah, hold on. Where the fuck are you, Isol? I'm gonna eat this.
Look to the trap.
Where's Isol?
In the bush.
Okay. We're about to fucking die.
I'm chilling. We can just chill and heal up. Yeah, I'm not. That's polymorph, dude.
Nice try, buddy.
GG.
Nice try, buddies!
A fucking 8-kill win? That's not bad.
Nice try. We were absolutely fucking stacked.